Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Box Office Breakdown.
Hey everybody, welcome to Box Office Breakdown. This is the show that looks back at the box office that was, and then we...
Prague.
Nah.
Ste.
Kate.
About the box office that lie ahead.
Boom.
Brandon, I can't get involved in that. Singing
No.
and prognosticate. That's not my thing. I'm not a singer. But
We could sing it if you want.
oh, gross. I'm Frank Moran,
And I'm Brandon Hanna.
and making us look good and sound even better is Bree in the booth.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here. Happy Sunday.
Ooh, yes. And of course, the third member of our panel, Carrie Lane, she's not with us this weekend. She is in Sundance. So make sure you're following her on social media to see all the adventures that she's getting up to out there at that great film festival. You ever been to Sundance?
I have not.
I think it'd be cool to go. I've never been either, but I think it'd be cool to go to maybe once.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Everything I see on social media about people that are there, they're bumping into celebrities, going to cool parties.
That's something we could do.
I think I could hang at a cool party.
I could bump into a celebrity. Sure. All right. Yeah, I'll do that. So, folks, we're going to be looking at this week's box office. We'll also do some predictions as well for next week. And we'll do a little talking about The Gentleman, one of the new movies that came out this week. But we'll kick it off with our look at our top five. And once again, Bad Boys for Life just rides the pedal to the metal. Stays at number one with another 9.7 million there.
Yes, just
So-
as
or
I
actually-
had foreseen.
Actually, that was for Sunday, 34.04 million for the weekend. So I was not here for last week. I will say that I enjoyed the movie. I'm sure you must have been incredibly satisfied that this film turned out as well as it did.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was still way off on my prediction for
Yes.
the box office. Even here on the second weekend, it made over 1 million more than what I predicted it to make opening weekend. But yeah, I was still happy that I was at least the closest to predicting its success.
That's true. Coming in number two, 1917 with another it came in $15.8 million this weekend. And that is one you've seen as well.
Yes, absolutely loved 1917. Totally deserved, and it keeps going strong. It seems like it's going to be a movie that has a lot of legs.
Yeah. It's I mean, it seems like it's that film to lose its opportunity to win Best Picture.
Yeah, I think Best Picture is 1917's to lose.
Yes.
So it's got to be the front runner.
Coming in number three at 12.5 million, Doolittle. Still haven't seen that yet. I was almost tempted, and I was like, I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie said she liked it, so given that you have to go and understanding that it's a kids movie,
Yeah.
which I think, I mean, I'm a little surprised it's doing as well as it is, but it's still not doing that well.
Yeah.
But it's hanging in there in the top 5, so.
I feel like it is because of the lack of anything else at the box office.
Yeah.
You throw in one or two more good movies, this thing would drop rapidly out. But without that, people want to just see Robert Downey Jr. I think take some kind of bagpipe out of a dragon's butt. So, which happens in the movie.
I think I heard something about that. I didn't know if it was a joke or not.
No, that is true. They did that. That was a reshoot they did to add to the film.
Really?
Yes. So
Someone behind the scenes said, you know what this movie's missing?
that's what it's. Yep. Oh yeah, let's get that bagpipe and let's get it out of that dragon's butt. All right, this is it. We got a blockbuster, guys.
It sounds like someone wrote a joke on the form on the test screening, said, make this movie better, drag pipe out of a dragon's butt.
Wait a minute. Yes, that's what we need. Let's do this.
It's onto something.
Coming in number 4 was our one of our new films that came out this week, and The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie film starring Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant as well. That came out with an $11 million debut. I get a chance to see it, and we were talking a little bit before the show started, and I thought it was fine. Like I did not mind sitting there to watching it, but it didn't have. I don't know. I mean, Guy Ritchie's kind of his style's evolved. If you look at Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or you look at Rock and Rolla, to the Sherlock Holmes films, there still is. I mean, when you watch a Guy Ritchie film, you feel like you can tell what a Guy Ritchie film is.
Yeah.
And this one started off with some nice stylistic tendencies. So it's like, all right, cool. I kind of like what you're doing with this. And then he just seemed to drop them for the rest of the film. So
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, where's that little fun bits you had with the way that you were kind of telling your story at the top that kind of trailed off through the rest of the film. Strong performances, though. I actually enjoyed Hugh Grant, who plays a private eye / reporter in this film, and Colin Farrell, who plays a boxing coach for wayward youth in the town that they're in. I enjoyed those two characters a lot. Matthew McConaughey and Charlie Hunnam were fine. I don't know, like Matthew McConaughey was just, I don't know, he was just fine. He didn't give me that McConaughey that you really want. He was just solid. So again, if you want to see Colin Farrell and you want to see Hugh Grant doing a good turn of characters, I feel like it's a movie worth checking out. So yeah, I mean, given that there's really not much else to watch, go see The Gentleman. What a great. Please, put that on the quotes, guys.
Put it on the poster.
Yeah, put it on the poster. Given that there's nothing else to watch, go see this movie. All right, I feel like that's really going to help get the people into the theaters. Bree, did you see anything this weekend?
I saw, it was not in theaters that I watched it, but I did see, what did I just say that I watched? Zombieland 2.
Yes. And Bree roasted that film, guys. If you would have heard right before the show started, she tore that film apart.
It was not great. There was some fun moments in it. Like if you're just fans of like Woody Harrelson or Jesse Eisenberg or Emma Stone, like sure. But like as a sequel to what the first one was, it does not hold up very well. Not in my opinion.
Was the chemistry there between the actors, though? Did you think that still maintained, even though they didn't have much to do?
Definitely between like Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone. Abigail Breslin is less in it this time, and I don't know if it's because she's older. I don't know. Her part seemed kind of throwaway.
I'd agree. And by the end of it, there's no real reason for her to do what she does at the end of the film, which is hop back with everybody. She kind of, understandably, she's growing up. She's becoming an independent woman. She wants to explore.
Without giving it too much away, it's like, for people that want to see it, I guess, her role is like, oh, we're in the zombie apocalypse and there's barely anybody alive, but like, I really want a boyfriend.
Yes.
That's her.
That was her. And and then at the end, it's just like, hey, all right, I'm doing this now. And you're like, okay, sure.
Yeah, you're certainly not selling me on this movie at all.
It's disappointing. It's as much as I enjoyed the first Zombieland film, this one was just another reason why maybe sometimes it's good not to go back to a franchise. Also,
some people that you meet along the way that end up somehow surviving to this point, you're like, how? How are you alive? And it kind of makes me feel like if you're smart, you're going to die, but if you're not smart, you somehow will survive.
That's true. So be dumb when the zombies come, guys, and you'll live a long time. Rounding our top 5, Jumanji, the next novel, another $7.9 million. Now, of course, we did have a box office bet. I was away, but thanks for making me feel involved in this, folks. That was for the other new film that came out this week, The Turning, Universal's new film that's a takeoff of I can't remember the name of the film. It's off of an old book. I cannot remember. The Turning of the Screw, I believe that's the call of it, the name of it.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. They've done another film of that as well. That ended up making $7.3 million. Didn't make our top 5. But that means with a $7.3 million total, Carrie is the winner with a $9.4 million bet for our box office bet. Brandon coming in strong, second place at $10 million.
I'll take second place.
There you go. Bree, $11.3 million right there. And guys, thanks so much. You gave me a $13 million bet. Wow. I guess I lost this.
What would you have bet if you were here?
I would have bet $7.3 million. Guys.
I don't think that's true.
That's
at all.
Obviously, Frank would have just been on the money.
I would have been, exactly. I've learned my lesson from Bree. I've seen her bet. You got to put the decimal points in. That felt like a $7.3 million movie to me.
Yeah, in case you weren't aware, Brendan, that is completely me. The decimal points, those didn't exist before I started chiming on this panel. Now everyone's jumping on board these decimal points.
Yeah, I've picked whole numbers two weeks in a row, so I got to go decimals this week, I think.
Sometimes that's the thing that saves you.
That's the pro move.
That's the pro move. Yeah, I've never been on the receiving end of it. Bree's crushed it with the decimals. Every time I think I'm gonna do a decimal, never doesn't do anything for me. Bree, she throws a decimal in, it's pretty much guaranteed she's gonna get it. So Bree, if you want to go check out The Turning too, feel free. Don't let me stop you.
Look, I mean, maybe at some point I will, but
Understood. All right.
Starger in the chat is saying, though, that you didn't lose Frank because it doesn't count. But I remember
It
when
counts.
Amy was missing Starger, you were singing a different tune to
That's
whether
true.
it counted or not. Just saying.
That's true. But folks, we will have another opportunity for another bet, and you know we won't. We'll be better people, and we won't throw Carrie under the bus for this. We'll just keep it to the three of us.
Or I think a good idea that was brought up last week is that we keep it mathematical. I think we just average out all of our scores together and we give her the average.
Oh, that's There you go.
Yeah.
That's true too. And and then with the caveat that if either any of us lose, that she automatically takes the losing position. That's there you go. If I lose, Carrie has to lose. Okay. But we have two films for your hard-earned votes there in the chat, and that is Gretel and Hansel, a new kind of horror thriller, and The Rhythm Section with Blake Lively and Jude Law and Sterling K. Brown. So kind of a drama mystery thriller. So there'll be the two films that you can vote on in the chat. And, while you're doing that, feel free to take a moment and like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up while you're there. Or 2 or 3 or 4, however many you have.
Wait,
there you go.
wait.
3, 4,
Are they
5,
there?
6, 7. Yeah, look at those thumbs. There you
All
go.
right.
And Brandon's got the chat up and running. So feel free to hop in there and share your
Yes.
thoughts. But Brandon, if they're watching after we've streamed live, what can they do?
After that, what can they do?
They could comment down
They can
below.
That's
comment down
right.
below and still watch this amazing program.
That's true. Look at that. That's great.
Do that.
Just do that. Do that. One other film I did see because Carrie recommended it a couple weeks ago was The Weathering with You, an anime film. I saw that as well, and then I saw The Gentleman after that, and the film was fine. It was fine. The animation is beautiful, and and it is interesting to watch an anime film where you're so used to watching like a Pixar film, where if you're going to restaurants or stuff, it's going to be something that's created specifically for that world. So it's not like a real location. So this one was great because they actually part of it a scene takes place in McDonald's, and it is the most beautifully realized McDonald's in anime. You're like, wow, that's a beautiful looking McDonald's. So it was cool just seeing real products, and I'm sure what is a real McDonald's in a real location in Tokyo brought to life on screen. I was like, all right, that's cool. Something that you don't get to often see in animated films.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if Carrie were here, if she would appreciate your one takeaway is the realistic McDonald's.
that was it. Sorry, Carrie, I dismissed everything else.
But you've piqued my interest.
Yes, I was like, all right, that's cool. Nicely done. Some of the product placement in there, just for an animated film, I was like, oh, interesting. All right, cool. Something I don't often see.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about how product placement could work in an animated film.
True. And I guess if you look at...
Normally, it's like they just put some knockoff
Yes.
something or other there.
And if you think of Tokyo, there's so much going on around you that, if you're going to try to be faithful and kind of create a realistic story, then you got to show what's really there. But I would be, I'll have to ask Carrie if it's often, because I haven't watched a lot of anime films, but if that's unusual or pretty much par for the course in terms of animated films. Lots of recognizable locations and product placement. Oh, we'll find out. We're so excited for next week already, Brandon.
Yeah.
Some quick international numbers here. Bad Boys for Life, Brandon's favorite film so far of 2020, basically has been sweeping the international box office as well. This saw another $42 million in 58 markets for an offshore total of $95 million, bringing the global total to $215 million. It's basically, it is now setting the Threequel Collard another record as the biggest opening of the 25-year-old franchise in the new group of 19 markets. It's so weird to be thinking about, it is 25 years old for that film, this franchise. So we also got 1917 made another $23.7 million from 50 overseas markets. And the offshore total is about to pass $100 million, while the global total is crossing the $200 million mark. And Doolittle, surprisingly, is made another $13.2 million in 55 markets for $46.4 million to date here. It's in line with Cinderella, 11% below Maleficent, and 61% over Alice Through the Looking Glass at the same point in this release, which I did not see Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Me neither.
I saw the first one, and I thought that movie was...
I saw it.
You saw... was it as bad as the first one?
May have been worse.
It's hard. I feel like that would have been hard to beat.
It definitely was worse.
Wow.
So when I said may have, I lied, and it was worse. It just, the first one at least had more of a story feel to it. This one just kind of felt like, let's let Johnny Depp be silly.
Does he do that stupid dance where he rolls his head around his...
I don't think he does it in the second one. But he does do that in the first one. I forgot about that. Thank you, Frank, for reminding me of that.
That was such a low point in that film. When that happens, you're like,
there's like this thing that I have, this theory I have with certain people, and like on Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, obviously have worked together a really long time, and the first stuff that they put out was really, really good. And then I sometimes get the feeling, especially with Tim Burton, because it felt the same with Helena Bonham Carter in a lot of his films, that when he got really close with them, they stopped pushing each other to be better, and they just kind of let each other be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I felt like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood and all these great films. I don't actually, if he did, he didn't do Ed Wood. Sorry, but
He did.
He did do.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I was right. And Sleepy Hollow, like these were like all these like really intricate, great films, and they were pushing each other to be these really outside of the bounds performances and deliveries of direction. And then I think the more we went along with them, the less they did that, because maybe they were just too content with each other. And I felt that way when I watched both Alice in Wonderlands.
Yeah. What did you feel about Dark Shadows, if you've seen that?
Not a fan.
I've seen it. It's been a while. To me, it's just one of those movies. I didn't hate it or anything. It's just kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I wanted it to be so much better than it was.
I never watched the original, but I heard the original series. Like, my cousin loves it.
Yeah.
So I know that she was disappointed when she saw the film, because she was expecting that same feeling she got from the series, and it was not. It was more campy.
No, agreed. And I mean, I'd still rather watch that than either of the Alice in Wonderland films. And that's having not even seen the second Alice film. I just know that the first film left me in no mood to ever want to watch another story with. I mean, Tim Burton didn't do this one, but still, that first one was like, no, I still have no interest in wanting to see any other continuation of the storyline. But I would agree with you on that, Bree. Yeah, it's just. Like, if Johnny Depp has just reached a point in his career where, I mean, I feel like he still wants to take chances, but he also, that doesn't mean that every chance he wants to take is the right chance or the right character choice. And he needs somebody that can go like, Johnny, yeah, maybe not this one. Let's try something different. And maybe he's at that point where nobody's saying no to him. I have no idea, but it seems like that sometimes when you see some of the stuff, the performances that do make it to camera, and you're like, wow, nobody said, Johnny, this isn't going to be good. Don't do this.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, it's not just Johnny Depp and Tim Burton. There's other directors and actors that have worked together for a long time that you feel that way. It feels like they just kind of do the same thing over and over and over instead of pushing the boundaries anymore.
Like Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. I got you, Brie.
It's a hot take.
I would like to say this is not my voice. This is Frank's voice.
Rounding out our international news here. Of course, Rise of Skywalker. Look at that, just crushing there. It is. It has got 1.46 billion dollars, excuse me, globally. It is the number 9 worldwide release of 2019. So with 1.419 billion globally, Disney Animation's Frozen has topped Avengers: Age of Ultron to become the number 10 highest grossing release of all time worldwide.
Wow, it's impressive.
Do you want to see Frozen 3 though? I feel like we're going to, but do you want to?
I mean, I still haven't seen the first two.
Really?
But I say bring it on.
What's kept you away from the first two? Are you just not a fan of Disney animated films?
Yeah, I've never been that huge into Disney animation. I'm not opposed to it, but it's just never something that I've had to rush out and go see.
So are you Pixar? No, or Pixar doesn't match.
I do like Pixar. I'm a little behind though. I still haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just
All right.
Just airballing it.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
love
you
that
enjoyed
movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times now.
Okay.
So yeah.
So if you
great
make films
one.
like that, you're in.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially with films with interesting and unique animation styles in particular is something that might draw me in. And just the fact that it's Spider-Man is a big draw on its own.
What about the new Pixar film Onward with Chris Pratt and our boy Spidey?
Tom Holland?
Yeah.
It looks interesting. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay. Brennan's not going to go see it. Like,
Probably not.
Nah.
Maybe. If it breaks the top 5, I might go check it out.
So, folks, again, we're going to be doing our box office bets here on either Gretel and Hansel or the rhythm section. But in the meantime, I want to ask Brandon, because he's here right now, and he loved Bad Boys for Life, which I enjoyed it as well. We've had a lot, especially the past couple of years, where a lot of franchises try to do a new film in their franchise after many years of it lying dormant for a variety of reasons, whether it's actors' availability, just there wasn't any traction to get a new film until later on, and most of them just end up being a dud, and it kind of just sours you on the whole franchise. Like, oh, they shouldn't have come back for this one, but they did, and it's not great. Bad Boys for Life, though, even with a January release date, which would make you think it's going to be not great. The studio's not really supporting it. It's probably going to be a dud. Comes off as a really strong film, and it is doing incredibly well to the point where they've already greenlit Bad Boys 4. What do you think it was about Bad Boys for Life that got it right, where so many other films in recent memory have got it wrong for franchises?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm not entirely sure. It's absolutely crushing it. The box office numbers are incredible. It's got a great critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's exceeding everybody's expectations, probably even the studio's expectations at this point, I'd imagine. So it's really great to see a film actually do a sequel after all these years and actually hit it out of the park. I mean, it's not the greatest movie ever made, although I did say that we covered it on on Guilty Movie Pleasures this past week. So if you haven't checked that out already, go check that out, because that was a great episode that we did. But it's a lot of fun. It's a solid film, and they set up for the fourth one at the end, so it makes you think that they went in there with a lot of confidence for sure. And I think it's just a combination of maybe the studio having that kind of confidence and just the right timing, finding the right directors, the right script to go with. You had to get Will Smith and Martin Lawrence on board, and they're very passionate about it. They didn't just do it for a paycheck or to phone it in. I think it was just a perfect storm, and they caught lightning in a bottle, which kind of makes me nervous for Bad Boys 4, which should have been Bad Boys for Life. So I don't know what they're going to call this next one. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I can boil it down to one specific thing that made this movie the success that it is. I just think it's a perfect storm of everything working together, and it's going to be really interesting to see if they can take that success and carry it into the next one.
True, because if you looked without knowing how the film was going to turn out, but just at its production history leading up to it, where they wanted it to come out a couple years ago, and then it fell off the radar, Sony took it off the release schedule, went through rewrites and everything, you would think that, oh wait, this is going to be a troubled production. It's really going to show in the final product. But you get this, and no, it really sticks together really well. And I mean, there is some world building, which gets you excited about this. The characters that they introduced, I thought, with the strike force that was helping them. I mean, Vanessa Hudgens. If you would have told me like, yeah, I was going to really enjoy Vanessa Hudgens in a film, I would have been like, sure, whatever. But I enjoyed her character. I enjoyed I enjoyed Reggie from Riverdale. I enjoyed the big, tall, blonde guy, the tech guy. I enjoyed all three of those characters in their addition to the Bad Boys universe.
Yeah, they were all great additions to the team. And like I've said, I said it on last week's episode, I believe, and I said it again on Guilty Movie Pleasures, that every character kind of has their own moment to shine in the movie, which was really good, not to just kind of brush over anybody. It seemed like the pacing and the editing and everything worked so well together that it just made it kind of seamless that this movie, even though being so many years later, is a perfect fit into this franchise. It almost feels like it could have been a movie that came out in 2005, but in all the right ways, not in the dated kind of way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was just, I don't know how they did it, but.
Because I mean, I think if you look at some other films that have come out, it's been a bummer seeing some of these films that people were genuinely excited about, but after such a long stretch, and it's not even like the same film, like the whole team came back. If Michael Bay had come back as a director and not just as a producer, would that have changed some of the alchemy that made this film what it was? Because sometimes they bring the whole squad back and it just doesn't click, and you're like, oh man, darn it, I was so pumped for this movie, and then it just comes out and it's disappointing.
I think that was key too. Sometimes when we see trilogies all done by one director, the third one, maybe the director gets kind of stale. We've seen happen with like Spider-Man 3, even though I kind of like Spider-Man 3, but it's obviously not up to the same quality as the first two. And the same thing I'm going to say again with The Dark Knight Rises. I love The Dark Knight Rises personally, but it's also not up to that same quality as Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, where it seems like changing directors on the third film might be what's best for a franchise. So it'll be really interesting to see how other trilogies kind of work out. Like I know we're getting like a new Guardians of the Galaxies to keep it on the superhero theme, and James Gunn is coming back, so it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. But I do think in this particular instance it was the right time to change directors and kind of mix things up a bit, and it ended up working really well for them.
True, because what I like is it has stylistically it looks very similar, but it's just different enough in terms of the way it's shot and the action sequences that it has the touchstones to the Bayhem, as they would say, but without being like, oh, I'm just trying to slavishly recreate a Michael Bay film. It's like, no. We brought in two other directors who want to shoot the action, fun, cool action sequences, but maybe just a little bit differently.
Yeah, and they made it their own, but at the same time, it felt like it fit in with the universe, which was really key. And also, thinking about it, we've seen what happens when Michael Bay stays on a franchise for too long and you get the Transformers films. Whoa. So say what you want about those. Some people are fans.
There's no way. I can't see anybody that is going to be a fan over all of those films. There's just no way.
I think there's redeemable qualities in some of them, but I think even after the first Transformers movie, Michael Bay probably should have moved on, because that second one's probably the worst out of all of them. I don't know.
So, folks, what do you think? What is the secret to success for a long-running franchise if they're coming back after a long time on the bench? What's the secret to their success to having a successful film just like Bad Boys? So, folks, we're getting ready to do our box office bet, but before we do that, as we're wrapping up your votes there in the chat on either Gretel and Hansel or the rhythm section, we've got to do next week's top 5. So, I don't know if I see either of these two films knocking Bad Boys for Life out of number 1. Do you?
I don't think so. I think it's gonna stay at number 1, and then 1917 might stay at number 2.
I would see no reason to argue with that. Out of these two, I'm going to go, just because of the names, I'm going to go with the rhythm section over Gretel and Hansel. Yeah, but I mean, I'm like, yeah, for sure, this is going to do it.
I think so. I've seen more marketing for the rhythm section too. I haven't really seen anything for Gretel and Hansel.
I'd agree with you there. So I feel like
I'm backwards on that. I
Really?
haven't seen anything for the rhythm section. I'd never heard of it until this moment.
Really?
And then I've seen stuff for Gretel and Hansel.
I mean, I've seen the trailer for the rhythm section, and I don't know. I mean, it feels much like the Jennifer Garner film that came out last year. I want to say it was Candy, but it's not that. It's yes,
I know it. It's just somewhere in the back of my head.
Where a family's taken away, and you got to get revenge, and then what happens with that? So I mean, all right. So Bad Boys for Life, 1917. Do you see something coming over? Doolittle or The Gentleman?
I don't know. I don't think so. And maybe positive word of mouth might swap those two if other people, because I've heard some good things about The Gentleman, like better than If There's Nothing to Go See it. So I know there's people out there that are enjoying the movie a lot, especially Guy Ritchie fans. So I could maybe see those two swapping. So I'll put The Gentleman and then Doolittle.
I like that, and then I'll put the rhythm section number 5. I don't think it's going to go better than...
Is it against the rules if we agree?
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It's always good. There we go. Like minds, great minds think alike.
I actually think Gretel and Hansel will do better than the rhythm section.
All right, Brie. I mean, we know you're a fan for that. That marketing has just grabbed you right in. Folks,
I just think it's a more popular brand that majority of people know a basic story would go see it over.
I guess that's true. Like if you're a type of family who goes to the movie theater and picks what you're going to see when you get there, and you see Gretel and Hansel, you might just go and see that.
I mean, let's go see
as
this.
Opposed to the rhythm section. But I swear I've seen a rhythm section trailer in front of every single YouTube video that I've watched lately. So I don't know if it's the algorithms trying to push that movie on me
also
or
the
what.
chat is saying peppermint.
Peppermint. That was
it.
It was candy.
It's a kind of candy.
It's true. Sure. Yeah. So I feel like it's that. Which that film was okay. All right, folks, it is time for our box office bet on the film that you folks have chose in the chat. I call out to Ken Jack if he's there. If he has
I don't see Ken Jack, but I've only seen votes for Gretel and Hansel.
Yeah, I've seen more for Gretel and Hansel. There's a couple rhythm sections in here, but it's edged out.
Great.
There we go. Gretel and Hansel won the bet 4 votes to 1. Thank you, Star Drew.
Oh man. All right. Not thrilled about this one. Not thrilled. Gretel and Hansel, a fantasy horror thriller with Sophia Lillis, Alice Krieg, Jessica de Gouve, and Charles Babola.
Frank, do we know how much the last Hansel and Gretel one, or whatever it was called, with Jeremy Renner made?
Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can find out for that. That won't be great. And actually, I think that actually did better than people thought it was going to be.
All right, I've picked a number, and I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going.
Sometimes you got to go with that.
Just going to stick with it.
Let's see here. It did 19 million. Its opening weekend. Yeah, the Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters topped the weekend chart with 19 million, but underperformed despite Jeremy Renner and the upcharge for a 3D ticket. So, all right, there we go. Now Bree's got that information. Okay, let me write down a number here. Of course, folks, if you haven't joined us before here, the box office bet is that we will, based on the film that you've chosen in the chat, we'll place our bets on what we think the opening box office total will be for the weekend for the film that you've chosen. One who's closest gets to bask in the glory of being the prognosticators. The loser will have to go see the film and tell us all about it.
I think the loser should have to sing prognosticate.
I mean, Carrie just sings it every week.
That's it.
So
oh boy.
I think the loser should have to dress up like Hansel and Gretel, or like one of them.
Oof. No,
or
you have to say
eat an entire gingerbread house in one sitting.
On camera.
On camera.
Is it easy to get a gingerbread house these days, though? It's after Christmas.
You can buy it online.
You have to make
Amazon
one.
Prime.
Or you have to at least give your review of the film in your best witch voice, and you can't phone it in. It's got to be really get into it.
While eating candy.
I like that.
All right.
Eating peppermint.
Oh, I'm so scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this voice. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's see. It did.
Frank, you're taking the longest.
I know, because I feel like there's a lot on the line for me.
He lost last week, so there's a lot on the line.
I feel like people in the chat are saying you didn't lose, and so it would be me losing. I still think that they're being flip-floppy because you're the one that started that with Amy.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, Frank wasn't here. Frank's the one that did it to Amy, people.
That's the old show, Bree. This is all new.
That's so
Brandon's
2019.
here. Yeah. Don't live in the past. Okay. All right. I'm going to go. All right. We'll see. Bree, you ready?
Yep.
All right. What do you got?
I went 15.4.
15.4. Brandon?
I said 8.4.
14.3. Oh!
Frank is safe.
Yes! I was so scared. I was so scared for that. All right. This is going to be exciting, folks. I'm excited.
Maybe I just want to do my witch voice, I think.
Ooh, all right. There we go, everybody. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Box Office Breakdown. I'm feeling very good now. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and give it a thumbs up while you're there. Or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. And thank you, everybody, for hopping in the chat as well. But if you want to stay in touch with any of us, even after the show's over, Bree, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Bree, BRI_Phipps, PHIPPS, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Real TikTok? All right. I'm down. All right. Brandon?
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BrandonHanna07.
Follow Carrie D. Lane and her adventures in Sundance at Carrie D. Lane, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Box Office Breakdown. I think we'll all be back here next Sunday, and somebody's doing a witch voice, and I cannot wait to see who it is. We'll find out together next Sunday right here on Popcorn Talk. Go see some movies.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.